and welcome back to the Wrestling Group. I'm your host as always, Ryan, and today we are going to be doing our first ever top 20. We've done top 5s, we've done top 10s, we're going for a top 20, and we're doing top 20 WrestleMania matches of all time. Now my worst WrestleMania matches of all time, which was a top 10, has been viewed quite a lot. You know, there seems to be some good reaction from that one, so I thought, well, it's only fit and proper to do best WrestleMania matches as well. And then I started looking into it, and it became really difficult to find just 5 or 10. And I thought, do you know what, I reckon I could do a 20. So I thought, let's do it. I'm not going to go through all the ins and outs of every single match, because otherwise this video will end up being about 2 hours long and everyone will be bored and fed up and fall asleep. So we are going to run through them pretty quickly, but I am going to do 20 down to 1 WrestleMania matches, and as always, you can play along with me. Let me know in the comments whether you agree or disagree with any of the matches that I've put in. If you think of other matches that should have been in there, do you not agree with some of the order of the matches? Do you think some should be higher or lower? Let me know in the comments. I always enjoy a good discussion. Feedback is always welcome too. So we'll start at number 20, and the match at number 20 is a women's match. Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 32. 3 of the best women to ever do it faced off for the brand new Women's Championship. If you remember, at the time, this was Charlotte was going in as champion. She was the Divas champion. And then they give us the new belt, which Lita come out with. It was the white one with the red, which we had as the Raw Women's Championship for a good while. That was to be the new Women's Championship, which in reality was the right thing to do, because you know the women that were wrestling at the time were definitely not divas, if you like. They were proper women's wrestlers. We needed a proper title again. I'd say it was a great match between these 3. You know, come up from NXT at the same time, so they had a lot of history there too. And Charlotte gets the victory and pretty much retains. Becomes new, I think both, if you like, because she was champion going in, she's champion coming out, just a different title in a way. So Charlotte gets the victory of that one. Number 19, we have The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. Icon versus icon, new school versus old school, a dream match for many fans. Became a reality at WrestleMania 18. Probably the most hyped match in WrestleMania history. It comes in at number 19. Do you agree with that? And I'm sure a lot of you probably won't. But in terms of ring action, I'm going to have to put it in number 19. Number 18, we have Shawn Michaels. This is the first time Shawn Michaels is appearing on this list, and it won't be the last. Mr. WrestleMania himself. Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 19. This was a combination of great storyline telling between the pair and a great in-ring performance. The low blow by Jericho afterwards is still talked about in a lot of wrestling discussions, and WrestleMania 19 is seen as one of the better WrestleManias as well, so it's always brought up in discussion. You know, it was one of them stories of a wrestler being able to go against his hero, which was obviously Jericho, and his hero was Shawn Michaels. It definitely wasn't the best match that these two had together, but it was probably up there. Like the best match for me was the No Mercy one, the ladder match. But there you have it. That is number 18. Like I say, we're going to fly through these ones. Number 17, Edge versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22. 2 of my all-time favourite wrestlers clashing at WrestleMania. I think it's safe to say this match exceeded all expectations, and that, and that fiery table spot is still talked about now. In fact, Edge or Adam Copeland done a sort of mini recreation of it in AEW not too long ago. You know, I think a lot of people, when this was announced as being a hardcore match, obviously thought back to Randy Orton versus Mick Foley at Backlash 2004, and we're hoping we get something as good as that. And I feel like this did exceed the expectations in the fact of, like say that one spot, like the Randy Orton Mick Foley match is one of my favourite matches. I love it. I go back and watch it all the time. But the Edge and Mick Foley match has that one oh my god moments that people will just go back to time and time and time again. And it's probably the little thing that it maybe has over that one. Number 16, we have Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39. This match was hauled straight away as an instant classic. The first match at WrestleMania for the NXT Championship wasn't as great, but this match is seen by some as to be the greatest women's match in WWE history. That is what people were actually talking about after the match finished. They were saying, I can't think of a better women's match in WWE history, not just WrestleMania, just in general as a whole. So it's no surprise this comes in, and I remember this being, I'd say, one of the better matches last year. But they had a couple of really good matches last year. To be honest, they got a lot more time for the matches rather than 300 matches in 5 minutes each. So yeah, it was pretty decent WrestleMania overall, and this is definitely one of the reasons why. I mean, I love Rhea Ripley. I think she's great, but her reign has been awful. It's been boring, and I feel like after this match we expected a lot more for that reign. But hey, she gets to do it again at WrestleMania this year. Number 15, we have Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista for the WWE World Heavyweight Championships at WrestleMania 30. It's the ultimate underdog story. Daniel Bryan, by WWE standards, should never have been a world champion, but obviously the fan base knew and wanted otherwise. Similar, obviously, to the Kofi Kingston story. The fans get behind someone that WWE didn't really want to push, especially at the time that the fans wanted him pushed. And he ended up headlining WrestleMania 30 and winning the championships. And don't forget, he also had a banger match earlier in the night against Triple H as well, which is a really good match too. In at number 14, we have Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 20. When you have a top babyface like Eddie Guerrero, you need a top heel like Kurt Angle. A good story build led to Eddie's best match as WWE Champion, and who can forget the boot? As he then goes to end the match, Kurt Angle has him in the ankle lock. He manages to slip out of the ankle lock by undoing his lace and sliding his boot off of his foot. Angle's like, that was boot, like, oh my god, what's happened? Goes to Eddie rolls him up and gets the free. Really clever. Obviously plays into the light sheet steel type gimmick. It was just really clever way to end, which was a brilliant match. I really enjoyed that match. Number 13, again another one from WrestleMania 39. We have Sheamus versus Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship. I've always loved the triple threat match, mate. Some of my favourite matches of all time are triple threat matches, and this was just a brilliant 3 big brutes just clobbering one another for the chance to be crowned as champion. Gunther has had a great reign as Intercontinental Champion. He's made the belt feel as important as the World Championship, and this is probably his best match of his entire reign, and I don't think it will be topped. Sheamus, Gunther and Drew McIntyre was just phenomenal. And again, another great match from last year. So in at number 12, Shawn Michaels, here he is again, versus Razor Ramon in an Intercontinental Championship ladder match at WrestleMania 10. This is the first ladder match in WrestleMania history, and it really set the standard for years to come. Obviously, we got Money in the Bank and everything after that years later. Tag team matches like the one that we're having this year. A ladder matches at WrestleMania. There was Intercontinental Multi-Man Championships when Daniel Bryan won it one year. But some really good spots throughout with the bad guy coming out on top. And who can forget the iconic picture of him holding both titles at the top of the ladder. So we're getting close now. Number 11 is Again, another match from WrestleMania 39. The Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. A year-long storyline concluded with this match, and it didn't disappoint. Emotions definitely ran high in this one throughout as KO and Sami bested the Bloodline. Also, it was the first tag team match to main event WrestleMania since the very first WrestleMania. So there you have it. So we now are in to the top 10. So I'll tell you what, I'll quickly run down from 20 to 10. And then when we get to the bottom, I'll go 10 down to 1. So 20 is Charlotte versus Becky versus Sasha for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania 32. Number 19 is The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18. Number 18 is Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 19. I've just realised I've done that. In position number 19, I've got a match from WrestleMania 18. In position 18, I've got a match from WrestleMania 19. There you go. Number 17 is Edge versus Mick Foley at WrestleMania 22. At 16, we have Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania 39. At 15, we have Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton versus Batista for the WWE World Heavyweight Championships at WrestleMania 30. And number 14, we have Eddie Guerrero versus Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 20. In at number 13, we have Sheamus versus Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 39. In at number 12, we have Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Championship in a ladder match at WrestleMania 10. In at number 11 is the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 39. So let's get into the Big Ten. In at number 10, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. WWE loves to run brother versus brother matches, hence we're getting Jay versus Jimmy this year at WrestleMania, but none have and probably ever will come close to this classic encounter of Hart versus Hart. In at number 9, The Rock versus Stone Cold in a no disqualification match at WrestleMania 17 for the WWF Championship. The two biggest stars in wrestling at the time collided in an epic encounter. The rivalry between these two was brilliant, and it was no surprise that these two faced off at WrestleMania for a total of 3 matches. In at number 8, we have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 3. Easily the greatest match of the first decade at WrestleMania pay-per-views, and seen as the standard to which you want your match to be like at WrestleMania. In at number 7 is the TLC 2 WWF Tag Team Titles WrestleMania match, which is WrestleMania 17. Probably the greatest tag match in the history of WWE at WrestleMania. 3 of the best teams in Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys, to ever do it in the ring, and the result was a fast-paced, high-action classic. And obviously you got to throw in the tables, the ladders and the chairs to just make epicness. Again, setting standards for future TLC matches and TLC pay-per-views as well. This actually ended up becoming its own pay-per-view, didn't it? So in at number 6, we have Kurt Angle versus that man again, Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. Both men had absolute bangers at the WrestleMania before, and they went into this match ready to steal the show, and they did. Not only having match of the night / match of the year, and one of the best WrestleMania matches in history. Number 5, we have Triple H versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. Dubbed the End of an Era match, which obviously we knew it didn't end up becoming because of that Saudi tag match that they ended up doing. Yeah, maybe they shouldn't have done that. Up the end of an era match. This was phenomenal. Triple H and Undertaker both were synonymous with the Hell in a Cell match over the years, so it makes sense that when they did face off at the grandest stage of them all, it would be in a Hell in a Cell. Adding Shawn into the mix, given how obsessed he had become with Taker's streak, was just perfect, adding into the story and involving all three. At one point, Shawn basically has the chance to screw the Undertaker out of the match, doesn't he? Number 4. It's that man again. Mr. WrestleMania himself, Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, WrestleMania 25. Mr. WrestleMania versus The Undertaker streak. This match definitely set the standard high for WrestleMania. For WrestleManias to come. 2 of the best ever in WWE history, locked up in the ring for the first time in years, with fans on the edge of their seats till the end. So we only have 3 left. And like I say, I ran through this list quite quick. I didn't want an hour long video, but as we get to the top 3, I'll give you a little bit more of a breakdown. So, in number 3, we have Shawn Michaels, shock, versus The Undertaker, streak versus career match at WrestleMania 26. After the match the year before, the hope was that we will get another spectacle. We were not disappointed. The storyline build up to this was brilliant. Shawn wanted another crack at the streak, but Taker rejected the idea. Taker was the world champion at the time, so Shawn Michaels then entered the Royal Rumble for the chance, obviously, to win and face Taker at Mania. And after one of the saddest Royal Rumble eliminations in history, that dream seemed dead. Do you remember when he got sort of like shoved? He was on the outside and he sort of got like pushed. And he's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And he just fell. And it was like, oh crap. Because it actually looked like, man, was he supposed to have got eliminated there? Because obviously when he announced this is what I'm doing, everyone then expected him to go and do it. So then when he was eliminated and the way he was eliminated as well, it was sort of like, oh crap, is that not supposed to have happened? Which is always a cool moment. Obviously the dream seemed over for Shawn. That was until the Elimination Chamber, when Shawn Michaels appeared from out underneath the chamber. He appears up, super kicks Taker, costing him the World Championship. Taker then tells Shawn to put his career on the line. All of this added in. Another fantastic in-ring match. Puts this one, because of the build-up for me, puts this one over their WrestleMania 25 match, and obviously the fact that we knew that if Undertaker won, Shawn Michaels would have to retire, and he did do for a long time until that tag match again. All good. But yeah, so I mean, these were pretty close, and they've always been pretty close for me, WrestleMania 25 and 26, both the Shawn and Taker matches. But for me, with the added build-up and the added notion of being Shawn Michaels' last match, this is why this one pips it for me. Number 2, we're getting into hard waters now. Stone Cold versus Bret Hart in a submission match at WrestleMania 13. The rivalry was one of my favourites as a kid. I legit thought these two guys truly hated each other's guts. And the fact that I was obviously a massive Stone Cold fan, I hated Bret Hart. And why did I hate Bret Hart? Because Stone Cold hated Bret Hart. And that was the only reason. The technical genius versus the brawling everyman. These two shouldn't have been as great as it was. It really shouldn't. That's a testament to both these guys. The double turn during this match is stuff of legend, and it's still talked about now. You know, when we had the turn a couple of weeks back in AEW with Hangman and Swerve doing the double turn during that match, it was obviously compared to this match because it's still in everyone's mind. What we're talking now, what are we on? WrestleMania 14, this was what, WrestleMania 13. Oh my god, it's that long ago. It's like 27 years ago. Then bloody hell. The visual of Stone Cold being blood-soaked in the middle of the ring and refusing to tap out is one of the most iconic pictures in WWE history. So with that being number 2, it makes people wonder what could number 1 be. Well, like I say, this is my list, it's my opinion. A lot of you probably think that Stone Cold Bret Hart is the greatest match in WrestleMania history, but I will run down from 10 to 2 and I'll tell you what my greatest WrestleMania match is. So in at number 10 we have Bret Hart versus Owen Hart at WrestleMania 10. And then number 9 we have The Rock versus Stone Cold in a no disqualification match at WrestleMania 17 for the WWF title. In at number 8 we have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania 3. And at number 7 we have TLC 2 WWF Tag Team Titles WrestleMania 17, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian. In at number 6 we have Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. And number 5 we have Triple H versus The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee. In at number 4 we have Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25. And at number 3 we have Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker Streak versus Career WrestleMania 26. And at number 2 we have Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Bret Hart in a submission match at WrestleMania 13. So what could be number 1? Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Chris Benoit, World Heavyweight Championship, main event, WrestleMania 20. My favourite WrestleMania. If you know me, then this should not be a surprise. It's my all-time favourite match. My top match of all time. I love this match. I love the build-up. I love everything about it. 3 of the best wrestlers for different reasons. Triple H versus Shawn Michaels was an amazing feud. And at the Royal Rumble, they went to a draw during a last-minute standing match. I actually remember this. It was crazy because at the time, Shawn Michaels hits a Sweet Chin Music. I say I remember that, I watch it all the time. Shawn Michaels hits Sweet Chin Music and they both hit the ground. Shawn then goes to get up and can't and drops down. So obviously the ref counts 10 and calls it a draw. And obviously it's champion's advantage, isn't it? So he gets to keep the belt. I remember the kick-offs on fan forums, as they were at the time, with people going into meltdown because Shawn hit the last move. So that meant he should have been the world champion, or the fact that he was the last one to sort of get up but didn't. Meant he should be the world champ. Anyway, SmackDown's Chris Benoit won the Royal Rumble, but he jumped to Raw to challenge Triple H. Obviously, this is the first time we had someone jump from one show to the other to challenge the other champion. During the contract signing, Shawn sweet-chinned Benoit and signed the contract instead. The build-up to this was brilliant, and the match was phenomenal. From Benoit seemingly being eliminated from the match through the announcer's table, both Triple H and Shawn Michaels being busted open, and Triple H obviously then tapping out to give Benoit a World Heavyweight Championship after 18 years in the business and struggling to get to the top. And obviously, who can forget that iconic picture, probably the most iconic picture in WrestleMania history, of Chris Benoit with the World Heavyweight Championship and Eddie Guerrero with the WWE Championship, with the confetti falling down from the sky. Absolutely amazing. I love that match, and it, like I say, is my favourite match of all time. So it's no surprise I've put it in as my number 1 for greatest WrestleMania matches, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is your list. So let me know your top 20, your top 10, or your top 5 WrestleMania matches. Just let me know what WrestleMania matches you enjoy. Let me know if there's any of these that you feel like shouldn't be in. If there's any that you feel like I've missed off. A lot of people probably saying Cody versus Roman from last year's Mania. Obviously, with them going again this year, for me, it was far too many shenanigans to be included in the top 20. The match itself was pretty cool. The outcome I wasn't a fan of, and obviously the amount of involvement and shenanigans, shall we say, from Bloodline and stuff like that. Yeah, I wasn't too best pleased, and definitely don't think it should deserve a spot in the top 20. But let me know. You might think I'm wrong. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for more wrestling related content coming your way soon, especially as we crack on with our look at WrestleMania season.